doing another project which a lot of people might be interested in doing. It is an upgrade of your turn signals, basically. Upgrade from standard bulbs that burn out to newer LED lighting. So what I'm going to show here today is you need a Phillips head screwdriver to take the front turn signals out, okay, and you need a Torx T15 to take the rear taillight lenses out. I've opened the package here. Sylvania LED bulbs, pretty nifty, you know. And I got these aftermarket ones. Off of Amazon. I like these. I might change to these because I like how you know, they're, if you compare them to the quantity of, sit this down so it doesn't roll away. You know, I mean, I'm just guessing, just looking at the bulbs. I'm guessing just looking at the bulbs, the sheer number of LEDs, they look to be similar in size. Each one of these is an LED. So, I mean, obviously this one here has, you know, at least twice as many LEDs on it as the Sylvania. Now you go onto Amazon and you can search all kinds of different LED bulbs, and you can see on the package here, looks like, you know, a la lighting. So they seem to have the best reviews out of all the ones I looked on Amazon, and these ones are, I think they're colored ones also. They're amber. So these Sylvania ones I got are white because I'm using my rear tail lights. So I'm sure you could probably put red in the rear tail lights. Trying to keep it from rolling off the hood. But the thing I like about these amber ones is they have that little dome glass or plastic, I don't know which, with 3 LED bulbs forward. So, you know, it's definitely a neat looking bulb to look at. So less LEDs on all the way around, basically. You know, they look like they're gonna be these are gonna be a really bright bulb compared to these. So, but I'm not comparing front to rear because this is an amber light in the front and this is the rear tail light. So let's get them installed and see what they look like. One thing you're gonna have to do when you go to do this is you're gonna have to get yourself an LED compatible turn signal flasher. So we gotta install that. It's just like doing one-handed here. It's the same flasher as the one in your vehicle. It's just LED. So basically you just got to pull the one out of the vehicle underneath your dash, pull the one out and pop this in, and I'll show you why here in a minute. So I'm using my T15 Torx. Take out my screws to take the lens out. There's 2 tits that go into the body, so it'll just kind of hang up for a second. You can see them, they stick out here and they go in these little holes. There's 2 holes for them to go right into. They're just like alignment. So just turn. Let's see. My plug's going to interfere. Just push your little tabs outward a little bit, slide the plug off, because on mine that would interfere with the body of this. So looks like some heat over the years of the bulb. So this LED is going to cut down on that heat. So you just pull the bulb right out. I got to put my phone down to do this. So pull the bulb straight out and then pop the new one right into it. So we'll put it back in, put it in the same angle that you had it. Alright, we're back in place. And I guess put it the way the wires went, I guess. Just, that's it. Alright, that's back in, and I'll put my screws back in. And tighten it back up. Now, I'm using a ratchet here, but I'm barely putting any force on them. Just tighten them till they go snug. They're not going to go anywhere. Okay. Now, I only put one in for right now. I have a normal tail light in this side, LED in this side, so I'm going to show you what they look like with them on. Okay, so that's with them on, and that's the brake lights. Alright. Go ahead, step on them. Alright, let off. Just for the hell of it, I put the... This is how I have it in the vehicle. I have the aftermarket one in that side, and I have the Sylvania one in this side. Now, the thing I noticed right away, I mean, you can see from here, that's definitely brighter. That's not. And you can also see, which I don't like, is the dark spot in the taillight. It's dark because there's no LEDs in that area. You know, very poor design. I don't like it. Now, this bulb, you can see how bright it is, and I'll get my wife to step on the brakes for me here in a second. But I mean, it's got double the amount of LEDs in it. Plus, I bought this one for the front. This is for the front of the vehicle. It's actually amber in color, so I can show that here in a second. Hold on. Alright, so you can see that's what it looks like. It's amber in color, so I mean it's bright and it's amber. You know, I just wanted to put it in the back here to compare the LED, the two LEDs. So there's definitely a noticeable difference in brightness from the aftermarket one to the Sylvania. So let's see how bright they are when you step on the brakes. Oh yeah. Huge difference in lights. I don't like that one. I like that one. That's the difference between an aftermarket LED available online to a name brand LED online. You know, I really blame it on the design. Less bulbs, less LED bulbs, and no end bulb. You know, it's a huge difference. It makes a world of difference in how bright, and that's just a regular marker light. You know, it's not on brake lights position. So, and like I said, it's the dark spot in the center. Dark spot's created by not having a lens on the top. I don't like it. I'll take the aftermarket any day. It looks just as bright. Let me put a factory bulb back in here and compare it. Okay, so I swapped back to the factory brake light, and you can see it's definitely the LED is definitely brighter. You know, so there's definitely a huge difference from brightness from the factory incandescent bulb to an aftermarket LED with a lot of LEDs on it. So yeah, I definitely like the LED better, brighter. First thing you're going to do is, to get to the front turn signals here, is pull out these. I already pre-loosened mine up just for the video, but they're kind of a bear to pull out. And then on the back side, you see this point to it if I can. This right here, in this video, this you have to press 2 tabs, one on each side of the tab. So I get, you know, you can either pull the whole battery out to make it easier to get into it, or do like I do and use a set of angled pliers to squeeze each side. Okay, so that's down, like I said, this down below your headlight in order to get into get it to slide out. Okay, so I don't really have, I mean, it's kind of tight to get this out of here, so I'm going to take the screws out underneath, the Phillips head screws out underneath, to be able to slide the whole thing forward here. Alright, so they got these little shape clips that pop into the plastic here and over here, so they just kind of pop right out. I just wanted to get myself enough room to get the bulb out. Alright, so now I got the LED bulb back in. I'll show you here is, this is the normal speed at which the turn signal blinks. Now I'm going to show you, when just changing one bulb over to LED, how fast it blinks. Okay, now I'm showing you how fast the LED blinks, because we have to update the flasher, change the flasher out to a LED compatible flasher, so it will slow the blink down to a normal speed. Alright, so it's a little bit harder to tell from the front in the darkness here, but this is the LED. That's the factory incandescent bulb. So LED, it does appear brighter here on film, but in person standing here, it definitely is brighter. It's definitely got a brighter look to it, side to side. Well, let's see what it looks like with turn signal on. Alright, so we have the factory incandescent bulb blinking. Okay, now I'm going to show you what it does with LEDs blinking. Okay, so you can't really see it. Maybe you can see it on the ground there. On this side of the vehicle, I have LEDs in both rear and front, and that's the blink you get with the LEDs, both rear and front. Or in other words, here's the turn signal, the flasher. It's like normal blink. So much voltage, so low voltage, it just doesn't blink. It's trying to, or it's blinking really crazy fast. So that's the reason why. It's trying to blink, trying to blink. You get the idea. You can hear just the speed at what the LED is trying to flash. Alright, I was doing this in the dark to show how bright these really look, you know, and now I'm ending the video for tonight because that one works perfectly. This one here, while I had it blinking in the front, smoke poured out of it and it completely quit. And when I took it out, one of these little connectors here pulled out with it. So I'm going to say we got a defective turn signal bulb here, and it stinks. It still stinks like me holding it right now. So no more of this video until I get replacements for this. So it's going to be a few days, I guess, until I can order some more. So back to incandescent bulbs in the rear and the front, and we'll try this again in a few days. Alright, I got my replacement bulb in the mail today. Now I can finish this job. The one thing I will let you know in this video is that I bought all yellow bulbs, because in the rear taillight, the yellow bulb really doesn't make a difference in brightness. It looks the same whether it's yellow or white. So that's the first thing. The second thing I wanted to let you know is that I'm going to say the reason why the bulb failed is because inside of these there's a tiny little transformer, and I wanted to show in the video how they would react on a standard flasher, and then I want to show you in the video how they operate with an LED compatible flasher, so turn signal flasher. So I didn't expect that they were going to fail, so it's my own fault that the bulb burned up, and I'm hoping that I don't have any other problems since I have a compatible flasher. I think it was flashing so fast that it's just the current that was being sent to it, it couldn't react as fast, and it just fried. So that's the first thing. Second thing is I am buying an aftermarket foreign made bulb that came from who knows what country, and it you know, it's hard to say on the quality. I read reviews on them, and you had like 80-90% of the reviews were good, and then you'd have a handful that were like, I put it in, it lasted 3 flashes and it blew out, or it lasted 30 seconds, or it lasted a week. So you can never tell on these aftermarket bulbs how long they're actually going to last. So you want to just make sure you know, do the right thing and put the compatible flasher. They come with, not these, but some people online sell ones that have diodes, that if you don't put an LED compatible flasher, you can put a diode in line to change the voltage coming to them to be it tricks the system into thinking that it's got the right amount of voltage, or I'm going to say amperage, coming through the line to make the non-compatible standard flasher operate properly. So these, the reason I'm doing it this way, I'm putting compatible turn signal flasher. So as far as I know, the compatible turn signal flasher will use standard incandescent, and it will use LEDs, but I would think you would have to have all LEDs. If you put one in line, it may not work properly. One incandescent in to replace a bad LED. So it's just something to think about. Other than that, you know, I'm going to get to installing these, and hopefully I don't have any problems with them. And like I said, the reason they burn out is my fault, and I'd rather show in a video that you can burn these out pretty easily if you don't have an LED compatible turn signal flasher in the system. So you want to make sure that's done first. I just did the video to show what they can do, or what they do with a standard flasher, and they blink really fast, and that's the reason why. I'm going to almost guarantee that's the reason why the first one I had burn up. So the rest of them are ready to go. I'm going to put them in, and I'm going to show the installation of the turn signal flasher, where it goes under the dash, and that's about it. Alright, this video is to show you an easier way to get to your turn signal flasher and change it. In this vehicle, I've looked around, and you literally, some people are taking these apart, taking the underside of the dash apart, taking the whole cluster apart. I mean, it's just, it's a lot of work that doesn't need to be. Plus, in my vehicle, I have my CB and my trailer brake controller and stuff in the way, and I don't feel like messing with it. So I'm going to show you an easier way to get to this thing, and you know, it's not going to take long. Now I've gone to the other side of the vehicle. It's just gives me room to do what I got to do, and I'm 6'2", and I'm not a small guy climbing around the inside of this vehicle, even though it's a nice big vehicle. But here, basically, if you understand it, it's actually really simple to get to this thing. Basically, all you're going to do, and I did this beforehand just to make sure I could get into it, and I'll explain it. But what I want to do is push your tab down, pull your ashtray out, put it aside. Grab yourself a 7mm. Here I'm just going to use this to take out the screws. 7mm, 4 screws. That's it. Take 4 screws out. Now that you got those 4 screws out, what I'm going to recommend here is get yourself some tape, okay, or a long sleeve. And the reason being is, and I'll show you, this edge right here, this plastic is pretty darn sharp right here, okay. It's not so bad on the other side, but you don't have to worry about the other side. It's this spot right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get myself a piece of tape just to protect myself on this edge. Alright, so now it's not so sharp, and I'll show you in the video in the end when I'm done. The reason I did this is this edge is so sharp, and I got a long sleeve shirt on here because when I tried this the first time, just to make sure I could reach the flasher, it scraped the crap out of my arm. So here I'm going to show you, protect yourself. And what you're going to want to do is go in and straight over. Basically, in and over. You're sticking your arm right through here, straight across to get to that box right there. My phone wants to focus on my finger, but that box right there. Can't get it to right there. That box has tabs on both sides. So you're just literally sticking your arm straight across that box right there. Okay? Plenty of room. You look around in here to get your arm right over to that box. The four-way flasher, or the flasher, is over here. It's up under the panel, but it's over here. It's only, you know, an arm's reach over. So basically, you want to just stick your arm in. I'm not even to the middle of my forearm. My arm's in. The cover is off. Okay. There's like 1 or 2 wires from the ashtray there, but literally back over. Give it a little tug. Four-way flasher. It's out. Now, remember the position you take it out. Take your new flasher. New flasher. LED compatible for me. And you see the position of it. So it's going back in that position. So you want to feel for where you were. Using my thumb to push it back on. My cap goes back on the same way I took it out. Now, the fun here is, once you get your four-way flasher back in with your finger, is you got to squeeze those tabs on the black cover just enough to get it hooked back over so it stays in place. So that's it. My tabs are hooked, the cover's on, the flasher's in. I put my, peel off my tape. Put my 4 screws back in. Change the direction of my little handy dandy ashtrays back in, and the job is done. Okay, like I said, I was going to explain real quick why I put tape on there and why I'm wearing long sleeves. This is what my arm looks like. It's not bad. It just scraped me, and you know, there's no point in getting injured or cut. I'm sure if I went up or down, I probably would have been worse off. You know, it's very minor, but still, that's put tape on there to protect yourself, or wear a long sleeve. I still, even with a long sleeve, you might slide your sleeve up and get cut anyway, or scraped by it. Put tape on there. So from beginning to end, from the time I pulled the ashtray, pulling the cover, pulling the relay out, put a new relay in it, the LED compatible relay back in, putting the cover back on, and making sure that you squeeze the tabs to get the cover snapped back on, and putting the screws back, put the screws back in and the ashtray back in. It was like 5 minutes or less. I think it was more like 4 minutes total I have in changing the flashers. Now here's what my turn signals sound like now that I replaced it. And 4-way flashers. Okay, we'll see what it's like on the outside. You can tell they're definitely bright, much brighter than stock. Let me check the back end. Alright, so the big difference, let's just check out plain running lights. Alright, we'll just check out running lights, see what they look like. Alright, it's my running lights in the back. And brake lights. That's it. Okay, I hope this video helps you out in deciding on which is better between incandescent and the LED lights to use in place of your turn signals and brake lights and 4-way flashers, all that good stuff. So like, share, and subscribe, because you never know what I'm going to do next.